Menka Soni. Along with you, there was a twin boy that was stillborn.
How mad she would be when she get to know out of the twins, the only surviving kid is a girl. And she wanted a boy desperately. She refused to even feed me at that moment.
But to have an early start at the age of
Zero. It was time to move into another school. My dad said, okay, you know enough of English. Now it's time for you to go back into a Hindi.
Regression in life.
A man when fails, he will get sympathy. If women fail, will be called, okay, your hobby is done. Let's get back to work.
I would fight you, but you know what? I've seen this happening live.
For my first job, my dad also refused. He said, girls in our family don't work. I had actually become a stepping stone in my family. Education can help the girls to fulfill their dreams. See, anybody will come and tell, like, you know, sir, your daughter is too good. She's a beti kiski hai. You get your session crown, be a community servant leader.
Where do you hide the other clones of Menka Soni?
Last 14 years, everybody kept asking me, Menka, when are you running for the politics?
ये politics क्या होता है?
I'm here today running for Redmond City Council. Thanks to all my voters, I got the
Yes.
highest votes also.
Why is Lucknow in your heart?
For me, that is home.
Yeah.
Very politically engaged city. From there originated my concept of fashion. It's known for Lucknowi chicken curry. If I look around Seattle city, a majority of women has been either part of my fashion modeling or through the pageant. I'm a philanthropist by heart. At any point of time, if you look back and if you have not left your footprints behind, you will never be able to enjoy and feel satisfied. That moment I decided, okay, I'm quitting.
What was that moment that made you choose public life?
There have been several domestic violence cases, the surge that started increasing. You talk about women empowerment. I have dealt with cases where women in USA, they were asked not to sleep on bed, not to use the washing machines. They had not stepped out of their homes. Dhara Shah, she lost all her limbs while giving birth to her first child. Today she does the marathons. Nobody can empower you till you empower yourself. The idea of MICA program is we are providing aid
Survivors
to
of
anybody's.
domestic violence?
It's
or?
not just survivors of domestic violence, it's anybody and everybody.
I see.
Dehat. I have personally seen the condition of that school. I was scared even to step inside. There was no drinking water. There was no toilet. Ashish, my husband, for me, he came into my life. That also became a game changer. And then my visa expired. So I just got to know, okay, you have only 6 months left on your H1. Sit at home.
You've had few instances in your life that almost broke you physically.
One fine day, both of these places got demolished. Everything that I have worked so hard to build is just got to ground zero. Also ended up having a heart attack.
Do you think what happened was something that made you? Welcome to yet another episode of Jack of All. This is Adi Naidu, your host, and I want to thank you all. First of all, we are at 25,000 subscriber family now, with close to 40 podcasts in the last 1 year. I just want to thank everybody who has supported us through, whether through sharing the videos, letting us know how much they love us in the comments, or what kind of guests we should invite on our show for sharing their life journeys and supporting journeys of different individuals who've not had a very easy life. Individuals that have personally added to my own journey, being a creator or whatever I am today. And folks that have just shown raw resilience towards life. Today's guest is somewhat slightly more unique than even that. It is a journey that is very close to my heart, and I'm just excited to introduce the guest to you. With that, I welcome Menka Soni.
First of all, thank you so much, Jack of All, and specifically Adi, for inviting me for this wonderful show. I have seen your episodes, and I was very excited to be here and share my journey with all your viewers.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This podcast is very much like, you know, in an evening podcast. You can watch it with your family or just get inspired, you know, listening to some amazing stories. But yours particularly is something that despite knowing you for so long, I had no idea what the inception was, right? And I've mentioned this multiple times on the podcast that I had a very early start to serious life at the age of 5. But to have an early start at the age of zero.
I say 1 minute or an hour.
Yes. Unfortunately, this is a very sensitive topic that we are going to get into. But with all due respect, you were born in UP, very close to where my mom was born. I am half, UP, in Mathura. You were very close to that in Agra. Can you tell me a little bit more about, what kind of family were you born in? Who are your kin and people that you love?
I was born in a very conservative family and five sisters and one brother. And so, my mother, my father, they're most loving people on this earth. And with due respect to their beliefs, and also how the upbringing that they were expecting for all the kids in the family.
Yeah.
Somewhere at that time, because of societal norms, having a boy child in the family was a kind of a requirement that is going to take the name of the family to the next level. So, like all those families at that particular time, my mother was also expecting a boy child to be born. So, and I was also having a stillborn twin brother at that time. So,
So hold on. Sorry. This is getting like too ahead and too serious. So you said you were the fifth child
fifth
in the
daughter.
family,
Yes.
and your mother had four daughters before you.
Yes.
And this
yes,
was in the hope that there would be a son.
absolutely.
And when you were born, along with you, there was a twin boy that was stillborn.
That was stillborn. So you can imagine how mad she would be when she get to know that out of the twins, the only the surviving kid is a girl, and she wanted a boy desperately. So of course, that made her really upset, and perhaps that was one of the reasons she was so upset at that moment that she rejected me. But when my dad came back, my dad was on a official tour at that time. He was not in the town, but when he came back, and
So when you say she rejected you, say you are born, and she has to deal with a stillborn child as
Yes.
death as well, like while your father is away, and she rejects you in the sense like how do you recall that she rejects you?
So basically, she refused to even feed me at that moment. And there was a nurse who was dipping cotton and putting milk in my mouth so that because I was hungry, a baby,
Yeah.
a newly born baby would be
Wow.
really hungry at that time.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's what was happening. And, I know she was dealing with the grief of losing a baby boy. I feel for her, to be very honest. As a mother myself, I can feel her pain even right now. So that happened, and it's funny because my nickname is Mona, and everybody that time they were expecting, oh, there'll be a boy, Monu, and then when I was born, so it became Mona. So somewhere my name is also derived from the expectation
Wow,
of
that's
the
a lot
boy's
of expectation
name.
to carry like literally into the physical world.
Exactly.
Damn.
So so I would say I still carried that
Oh.
boy's. I should say all
Life
capabilities,
energy.
the life, the
Yeah.
brain. So that's I think that's the reason I became when I landed into this earth. I got with a dual responsibility that not only I have to be a daughter to my mom, I also have to be son to my mom, so that I can fulfill.
Seems a very metaphorical approach of life, because I'll be honest with you, I've seen this pattern with people who have had early start to serious life where they suddenly start living metaphorically. Now I have a bigger purpose, something, why would I lose my childhood
Yeah.
if I did not have a purpose, right? So what was like the first few years in that family for you? Or a few more years as a teenage as well?
So I'll tell you, because those were the days when the other siblings are grown up. So like my older sister, she took care of me pretty well. And when my dad came back, as I told you, he was at an official tour. So 2 days later, he came to the hospital. My mother was still crying. He said, and then she said, another girl. So he said, are you going to feed her? I'm there to feed all my daughters. So my dad actually supported me at that time. And then everything was okay, because I think she also came. It was just that moment for her. And perhaps I'm very thankful to my mother, because if that moment would have not been coming right from my mother, I may not be as strong as I am today, because that rejection, somewhere universe wanted me to take it in such good challenging spirit that I should become very strong. And today, honestly, my mother is super proud of what I'm doing, and I am her favorite child.
You deserve all the credibility to have that kind of an attitude, and I think directly related to the mission of this show is when you are dealt with the cards like that, the only choice out is an
Jack of all.
attitude like that. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing such a heartfelt, and personal story in many ways. Does that mean that you were always fighting for your place, confidence, freedom?
See, because we are five sisters and I was the youngest, so I got the most pampering from all my sisters. And after me, my brother was born. Okay,
They had a sixth kid, which was
the
a
sixth
boy,
kid, which
finally.
is a boy.
Okay.
Finally, like so, my mother was happy. And so the interesting thing is like because now there is a boy, he gets the most pampering, right? Was the boy, right? Most awaited boy in the family. For me, I'll pick up one example like when he was admitted to a school. So far, all my sisters were going to Hindi medium school, but my boy, because my parents wanted to put him into a convent school, so he can study in the English medium. I was admitted along with him so that he can get a company.
Fantastic. And because you guys were almost the same age, your parents were in a way forced to send you to the same school just so you could take care of the younger
He's 2 years
kid. Oh,
younger than me.
I see. So
And
younger sibling.
younger sibling. We were mostly like friends.
I see.
We are still mostly like
Of
friends.
course.
So there were times when I will always question my mother. And it was funny because, if she's giving him something and she's giving me the same item less, I would question why he's getting and I'm not getting. So I was always a little rebellious child in some of these things and could never accept if there is any partiality that is happening, even though she may not be having a mindset that she's doing a partiality to be, she's a mother. She will love all her children equally, but because son was something she really desired for, so there will be a little bit more towards him.
That was a different category of.
That was a different category, and perhaps that was one of the reason, she's doing it. And then my brother also got a little sick while he was very young, so of course, her attention towards the son was more. But the way our family is being six siblings, we all love each other very dearly. So if there is a gap here, it would be fulfilled in other area. So I could never feel that gap.
So it's not a seesaw. It's
Exactly.
like some kind of
Yes,
mechanism
exactly,
where it's
exactly.
kind of damped.
Yeah, and
The
then
impact is damped.
I was better in studies as compared to my brother. So when we are in school, I'm always getting good certificates and prizes and all these things when they were happening. So parents would always feel pride also when that is happening. And interesting thing, it's from there when I completed after 10th, it was time to move into another school. We used to call school, not colleges, that time for 11th and 12th. So my dad said, okay, enough of your in English. Now it's time for you to go back into a Hindi medium.
Ooh, regression in life.
Exactly.
Oh my
I
God.
said, nope, that's not happening. I am not going to change my
This is
path.
scary. Okay, अचानक से, imagine that actually happening also. I'm pretty sure कितने लोगों के साथ ये हुआ भी है. Where they are
Exactly.
like पूरा बचपन से वो इंग्लिश में पढ़े हैं. Suddenly उनके माँ बाप ने डिसाइड किया नहीं आज तो हिंदी जाएगा.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So, when that was happening, I said, no, that's not happening. And my mother stood for me at that time. My grandmom stood for me at that time. They said, no, why she should not go into an English medium school. She should go to an English medium school at that moment. And finally, my mother actually came to get my admission and everything. So
Wow, Menka ji, wow, that's amazing. That's enough for a movie. For me to start the first act and be like, okay, यहाँ से हमारा jump off point होगा. Thing that I'm super curious about is then knowing you, this now so poised and honed individual after so many years of practice and experience. Thinking back, if you did not have to put your life energy into all of that, if you were not born with a brother who was stillborn and you did not have these things, what else could you have done? Do you think what happened was something that made you, or you would be okay without that happening to you?
So I'll tell you one thing that has been very obvious and significant with me was I'm a philanthropist by heart. Okay. And if I'm going out and if I see somebody in need, I won't stop. Even if I have like, whatever money, I'll just give. Or I'll, when they're in India, somebody's like, coming at our door to ask for something, I'll go inside, whatever is there in our refrigerator, I'll just take out and give it.
I see.
So, and, my mother was always very scared of leaving home.
Because you would just take whatever is in the house and have access to.
So she would be, she said, I don't want to leave my house.
Wow.
Because
From
she's
Kati Mindi to Hero ka haar.
Exactly. So, I think that also started developing as I was growing. And for me, when I'm seeing anywhere pain around or people around, it would just make me really think about them. And
No surprise. Because there's a lot of turmoil inside you. So you're trying to
Exactly.
project that help outside, which
Exactly.
you're not receiving probably.
yeah, so,
So you would probably go back and be more like that if you
Yeah.
if you didn't have to spend life energy on
yeah,
competing.
exactly. See, Adi, I want to clarify. My parents, they are very loving. The kind of a love, respect, freedom
Yeah.
that I have received in my parents' home, knowing that they were a little bit conservative, yet they gave me all the freedom.
Absolutely.
And I have, later down the life, I have freedom to make my decisions. So there will be like, they did try to influence a little bit, but end of the day, they gave me freedom that I can
Yes.
live for. So, and I definitely, like, as I told you, like, I was little rebellious because if I have thought that I want to do something, I will do it.
Absolutely.
But
No.
not without their permission. So they gave me permission and I did that.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for clarifying that, because I also want to clarify that from the point of view of the show, I am seeing a very clear pattern where a lot of things in the childhood are the reasons why a human being is as driven in different areas of their life, right? To be able to contribute, whether it's through philanthropy or creation or things like that. And in that, I feel like even though positive, a very complex relationship between the parents and the children that creates an artist or someone who is someone who makes an impact that is outside of their family at a large scale.
I have seen several incidents and have several stories in all this process, which has
Wow.
lead me to where I am today.
On that journey then from India, like how did you, I would say, quote unquote, break the shackles of the cards that were dealt to you? How did you physically take yourself out of the place?
I'll tell you, it happened very organically. It's like I'm from Lucknow.
Okay.
All my school, I was born at Agra, but all my upbringing, my schooling, my college and education, everything was at Lucknow, which is again another city in Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
And so during this process, from there, I completed my MBA and my graduation. Did an MBA in finance and marketing at that time. So I started working, and for my first job, my dad also refused. He said, "I don't want you to work. Girls in our family don't work."
Okay, so let me take that same statement and put it in 2025, okay?
Yes.
So few questions maybe Gen Zs would ask. Acha, to who, if he can keep girls in the home, who does he have enough financial security? What does he expect you to do at home as well?
So for us, you study. If you want to do, you can study.
Acha.
But putting that study to a job was not.
Okay. So
That was educated to him.
I see.
It's like it's not. I think I would say that he was ignorant, and I have to make sure
I
that
see.
I'm creating that awareness that girls' education, and this was a big message, in fact, for my entire family, because so far it was like you get educated, you get married, and then you raise kids, you run a family, and then repeat.
yes, the
But-
template.
Yeah, the template was there. So for me, it was no, if I've studied, I want to put my education for a greater purpose. And I want to do a job because I want to take it to the next level. And if I would have not done that, like right after me in the family, the other girls, like, my cousins and, down the line, even their children, they all got that route that they can all take. So I had actually become a stepping stone in my family so that this trend can follow. Because when they started seeing, oh, she's able to study this thing, she has done this, she landed up with a job in the US, that means education can serve a bigger purpose. Education can help the girls to fulfill their dreams. So that's what started happening. And then benefit went to, all my cousins, they actually benefited out of that.
So you were the first
I'm
one
the
to
first.
sacrifice, right? The path paver,
I
the
paved
forerunner.
path.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And my dad takes, he always took pride afterwards. He said, see, anybody will come and tell, sir, your daughter is too good. She's a beti kiski hai.
I see.
So
That's fantastic. What a turnaround for you. And this was only when you were in India, or this was after you went
this
to
was in India. So I'll now come to your original question. So from there, I was working for Concord Motors, which was a Tata Jardine International.
Yes.
Back in Lucknow, and they just launched, and this is actually the same company that runs the Mercedes Benz in Pune. So I was working for that company and doing a phenomenal job, and I have a nice story actually to share for that.
Yeah. What were you doing? Tell me, how did you land in Pune from UP, and how was the experience?
Yeah. So then I got married,
Mm-hmm.
and Ashish,
Yes.
my husband, for me, he came into my life, and that also became a game changer. So that's where the transition and everything took a turn, and it became a game changer because we became true partners in every aspect. It's not that just a man is empowering women. It was also like a woman is also supporting man. So we worked hands in hand. It's like I've seen how in Mansa have been doing the same thing. So it was the same case for us. We got married. We moved to Pune. So I moved to Pune after we got
I
married,
see.
and I was working for Mercedes Benz in Pune at that time. Then I joined Cognizant. So for me and my husband, it was our profiles were so similar. It's wherever we end up, it would be like, okay, we can't hire both of you in the same company. But they will give us offer to both of us. And then they will say, no, you can't work in the same team. We'll end up working in the same team. It was literally certain times that, we are sitting next to each other because we're working on the same project. So,
You're like, let's get married.
no, this is all
I
after
know. I'm
marriage.
just joking. Like, no, let's get married. That is so insane. Wow.
So that's the reason I'm saying, we worked together, and we will be just complementing each other and helping each other to grow. It's like, his dreams are my dreams are his dreams. So, we started working together. So then I was working for Cognizant, and he was working at that time for Infosys. I was actually coming to US through Cognizant, but then he ended up with a job with another company to come to US, HP. But when HP got to know about my profile, they again asked him, why don't you ask your wife also to apply for this so that we can again go together to the same company, same project. So, that's how we moved here. We moved to Michigan, and we were working for General Motors at that time. And then, but the thing is that I could not bring my daughter at that time. We had a 2-year-old daughter, which we had to leave because I could not get her visa on time for her. So anyways, we moved here, and it is a completely new country, and we have to find out and pave our way. It's like, how we are going to settle down. Lot of ambiguities.
So I see 2-step transition here. One is, I think, one of the blessings of having a over conservative family as a girl is कि शादी होने के बाद अगर अच्छा husband का family मिल गया तो छोड़ देते हैं. They're just like, okay, just go and enjoy your life, right? If nothing is wrong, nothing is wrong. So that made you move from, into like Pune, and Ashish and you have a good time now, having freedom also geographically away from families and stuff like that. And then from Pune, you had to internationally transition, right? So there's a level of addition to that, in terms of accents and culture,
Lot of
being alone, the ability to work or not. Again, wo freedom thoda, do you think the freedom got constricted when you came back here, or no, because you were actually on a work visa as well?
No, we were on a work visa.
Okay.
So, and then, we were in the same project, as I told you.
Okay. So
Ended up being in the same project, same office, same building. And then from there, he moved to another company. and that company again hired me.
Wow.
So, literally our resumes to a very great extent were like, if you replace
Just
just the
save the
front,
name.
just the first name, Ashish Soni, Menka Soni. So,
It's the first name.
we knowingly, unknowingly, we were just building each other.
I
It's like,
see.
a brick by brick, we were just building each other. And uh, for me, I've been always multi-dimensional kind of a person who will do a lot of different activities, whether I'm in college or in school or
Yeah. What kind of activities would you do in school? More like organizational or performative?
So I think event management has been always with me as one of my favorite things to do. So when I was in school, I'm managing small little plays or even small, like,
Yeah.
from college. And there will be like a lot of times like, okay, we are not doing this event. And I'll say, no, I'm doing it. I'll start. And they said, okay, now she has started. Then rest everybody will join. But like a lot of times I will be the only one who's taking a lead or an initiative because I believed in that.
Yes,
And I know
yes.
this
You
is
had a
going to
vision.
happen. I
Someone,
had a vision.
yeah.
So
someone
this
had
has
a vision.
happened. And then, even when I moved to Michigan, we were like engaged in a lot of community events there. This particular thing blossomed when we moved to Seattle because when we moved here, we started doing several events, community events, and they just like, I'll pick up one example, Holi, Festival of Color. We started in 2008 because when we moved here, there wasn't anything major that's happening. Like, there would be very, very small little, like, with just a limited in a neighborhood only, but nothing at a major. We started doing that. And I remember the first Holi was around 250 people. And this year we had 15,000 people
Oh,
soaked in colors right at Seattle Center.
wow.
So you can imagine, like,
Scale.
the scale
Yeah.
that has churned from there to here.
That's fantastic because if I extrapolate all of that work from your school to college and organizing a Holi for 250 and now to 15,000 people, the original way, the way we met together was through
an event.
through an event, and that was organized by your foundation. It was, I think, at that point of time, it was called the Redmond Fashion Week or Ravishing Women. I think, if I'm not wrong, and that transition into like
AmPowering.
empowering right now. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense because I always wonder, especially when I look at NRI folks that have been here for a while and have been organizing different Indian cultural events or whatnot, right? I always wonder what drives them. Why are they like that? The more and more I call them and have a conversation, I figure out, okay, this is very deep need of connecting with people.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You went on a maternity leave and then you kind of figured out that there is going to be some challenge in your life. How did they take that opportunity, or I would say tragedy, for someone on a visa?
This is like kind of a second phase from where I was moving. So right, Michigan, we moved in 2004. So from 2004 to 2008, mid of 2008, working for General Motors, and my husband, he got a job at Microsoft here. And I also landed up with a job at Starbucks. So I had an option to work for Microsoft project also at that time. I refused. I said, I'm not going to work in the same office anymore. I want to explore something different. So that's the reason I joined Starbucks corporate office. And but during that transition, like, that what was happening at that time, it's like, if you are on or in an H1 visa, you have a limited time. You have to get your green card done within that time frame. So my green card wasn't done because we were still hoping that Microsoft's green card will come. And then, so when I was at Starbucks and I had my second daughter, I was on a maternity break at that time, and then my visa expired. So I just got to know, okay, you have only 6 months left on your H1. So I had to take that forced break in my life for a girl who has always done multiple things together. I was like, okay, sit at home. Though it was a perfect time for me with second child.
The blessing in disguise.
The blessing in disguise to spend my motherhood with my daughter at that time. But being that, a woman who has been always fighting for her rights, I felt why I'm forced to sit at home. I understand. Like, today everybody who is on an H4 visa, they get their EAD and they're allowed to work. But at that time, H4 women, like, partners or spouses, they were not allowed to work. So I was forced to be at home. And it took me few months to be mad at myself, mad at this visa things, mad at, like, and then it started settling down in me, and I said, I am not the only woman. There could be so many women around. They have their talent, they have capabilities, they might be having so much to offer out to the world. They are sitting somewhere, they're hiding and sitting somewhere, just managing the family, which was kind of an expectations down the line when my father said, like, you do
Yeah,
education,
yeah, yeah.
sit at home. Like, from there till here, we are living in United States, and I felt like, that is still a real problem. So that's where, for me, I started, the seed for my nonprofit organization came at that moment. Sometimes you have to go through some real experiences and real test in your life to show you the path. So, it's like, again, when you look back, you see how those dots are
Absolutely.
connected today. For me, it's like one of the dot that just connected me,
100%.
building up and launching my nonprofit, which was Ravishing Women at that time, and it was just focused on the women empowerment.
Even to the moment, because this is how we know each other.
Exactly.
So this is fantastic, right? In the live moment,
In the live
you are
moment.
still having that kind of connection from the work that you did in the past, which is
Exactly.
fantastic.
So yeah, and then once this nonprofit was born, we started working. And one thing, because I'm from Lucknow, I've seen for ages the Lucknowi chicken.
Let me stop you
karidgars.
there.
Okay.
Let's, with all due respect to Lucknow, from a Lucknowi, please tell our American audiences in brief, what is Lucknow through your eyes? What should people know about Lucknow, and what is Lucknow? Why is Lucknow in your heart?
Lucknow, of course, because that's my home. My mother, my brother, and my sister-in-law, their kids, they all are still in Lucknow, and I was in Lucknow just 2 months back. So that is home. For
Yeah.
me, that is home.
Yeah.
But it's capital for Uttar Pradesh, and very politically engaged city.
Yes.
And apart from that, it's known for Lucknowi chicken curry.
Mm.
There are a lot of things that are very popular in Lucknow.
Yeah.
It's very artistic, very culturally
Yeah.
rich city.
And dynamic, multiple influences through the
Influences.
Nawabs and everything, through the varied history of Lucknow.
Exactly.
Right? Wow.
There was a time when I, instead of saying tum or something, I would still say aap. For me, it took really long to move
I
from
agree
aap
with
to
you.
tum.
Yes,
This
yes.
is like a Hindi thing. So anyways, the Lucknowi chicken, it's like it used to be done for the Mughal emperors at some point of time. The queens used to wear those embroidery. But with the transition and how this work has evolved, this artisans have evolved, but they still have been exploited for ages. They don't have clothes for themselves. So when they're doing these embroideries, sometimes it's like, if it starts raining and they don't have an additional clothes to wear, they'll just put that on. They are that, marginalized. So I always used to think, if I ever get a chance, I want to work for them. And, that's exactly when I was like, nonprofit was born. And by that time, I could get my work permit. So I started
Wow.
work for those artisans. One concept that I had it in my mind is to build a marketplace, a physical marketplace where several women can come together and showcase their arts, their services, their products, handlooms, and build some of those things. And we did launch directly a marketplace right at Redmond downtown. But yeah, it was like kind of a conceptual phase, I must say. There was a lot to be done in that place. But so from that Lucknow, this women empowerment, artisan empowerment, fair trade. So some of these concepts, I started working on. And from there originated my concept of fashion. I'll tell you, I became very popular in my community because there'll be a girl with a mannequin outside putting up clothes, taking pictures. And I did a photography class also, so that, whatever I'm doing it, I want to make sure that, I'm able to do it on my own as well.
Of course, yeah.
But then one day a thought came, why these mannequins? Who is going to wear these clothes? These is going to be normal women. This is going to be my neighborhood
Auntie,
friend,
my chachi,
my
tai.
chachi,
Yeah,
So I said, okay, let's replace. So from there, I started inviting all my friends and, who can wear those clothes, and I'll take their pictures. I was their photographer, and I have such great moments of that.
That's nice.
Doing it, and then, editing those pictures and sharing it. I'll tell you, Adi, honestly, I think if I look around Seattle City, a majority of women has been either part of our my fashion modeling or through the pageant. There have been many, many, many lives that has been touched through
Yes,
this wave.
absolutely.
So and what that helped me, it helps me to put a message also to them. You are beautiful. You are beautiful in the way you are, and I'm taking their pictures and putting them. So it just created a
Yeah.
way for everybody. I would just start getting emails, messages. Hey, I want to do this thing for you. We had
Yeah.
some models already with us, and I still remember doing the fashion show, the very first fashion show. Some of my friends, those who walked, they were like literally. They said we were trembling at the back of the stage, and if I go and talk to them today, they are like, okay, you tell me, I'll walk even in my in my sleep. And they are coaches. They have
Yeah.
been coaching.
Wow.
So this is where the small empowerment kept coming, and then this started growing. 2013, we launched our first Global Women Festival, and women, when they are running these businesses, again, this was coming from my personal experience. When woman is doing something, a man when fails, he will get sympathy. If women fail, will be called, okay, your hobby is done, let's get back to work, get back to home. So no sympathy at that time. So
I would fight you, but you know what? I've seen this happening live with my wife many a times, and it is so unreal. How do you deal with that? What does it make you feel when someone says that to you?
so yeah, for me, it's like, by the way, I have to also tell, in this process, when I got my working permit, I did join Microsoft back at that time. And I was also working for PUD. But my heart was out from that, that work kind of a space. When you are working at a grassroots level with these, some of these causes that are really dear and you're passionate about, I I just could not focus on the work for that much. Like, I did, but then one day I decided, okay, you know what? I think I have to quit my job, because this nonprofit, if I have to grow this thing, I have to work full time here. So that's where I quitted my job, and I said, I will not be earning. In fact, I told my husband, he said, at office, I'm giving 15 days notice. For you, it is a 1 month notice. Figure it out, the finances, because I'm planning to quit my job and focus myself 100% for this nonprofit. And again, like, he understands me so well, and he said yes. Though after a couple of days, he came back and he was questioning, are you sure? I said yes, I'm sure.
Rationalized
Rationalized
a little bit, yeah.
And actually, I want to share one more story
Go
here,
ahead.
which is very important. My daughter was, I think she was 10 years, 9 years or 10 years at that time. This is 2013 I'm talking about. I was driving and I was so confused because, leaving a good, handsome salary job is not easy. Honestly, it's not easy.
It's criminal.
It's like, and that too for a non-profit. If you're doing a business and
Yes.
it's going to grow somewhere, you will still do it. But doing it for a non-profit where that it's like, you don't get a salary at that time. So, and I was driving and I was confused, and my daughter was sitting behind, and I asked her, I say, her name is Asta. It's like, Faith in. So I said, I'm confused. What should I do? And I think I was mumbling to myself rather than to her, because I didn't expected a 9-year or 10-year child to say something.
You were just loud thinking.
I was just loud thinking. And she said, Mom, money is not everything. If you are walking on a path at any point of time, if you look back and if you have not left your footprints behind, you will never be able to enjoy and feel satisfied. And I was like, I applied brake. I said, wow. I look back. Who told you this? She says, no, I just said it. That was voice of God somewhere coming to me, which I wanted to hear. See, leaving footprints is like you are creating some legacy. You are creating some impact. You are paving the path for many to follow. So that is what I felt was an answer to my, and that moment I decided, okay, I'm quitting.
This is so powerful. I was just reading this. This is such a powerful story. Thanks for bringing this up. We never discussed this at all, right?
Yes.
I was reading a book yesterday, and in that book, there's this famous physicist who is the top-notch, very vocal atheist. Do not believe in God. So much so that I will put a freaking poster in my office that says, God is nowhere. And he sits in his office all day. It's one day, he's just clueless about some things that he wants to do. His kid walks in and he says, "Why do you have that poster on there? Like, you look worried." So, like, "Why are you worried?" Like, "I have these problems in my life." Like, "You don't have to worry. You have a poster there that says, God is now here."
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't usually fall for these stories, but what I fall for is the moral or the conclusion of the
Exactly.
story. The conclusion was, in that moment, there was a growth in the physicist where he was like, there is a possibility.
There is a possibility.
As a reasoning human being, I can see this, whatever transpired right now. This little kid is not little kid in the last 2 seconds that whatever he spoke.
You know, he
That's
was voice of
fantastic.
God.
Yes.
So sometimes, you know, you hear these voices. Sometimes, you know, they say, hear your gut feeling, hear your intuition.
The universe is
Sometimes it's
talking
like,
to you. You know, you're getting, you know what?
Exactly. You know,
Everything.
it's-
Yeah. It's
so
the same.
you hear it. You
Yes.
hear it because somebody has to come at that moment to tell you what you wanted to hear, so that it can just reaffirm your own faith and your own belief. So, anyways, like, you know, that happened, and. So for me, it's like, you know, from there, I was actually talking to you about that nobody has actually appreciated women. So I was talking about my women show. I decided I'm going to appreciate women when they are in their beginning phase.
In the journey.
I just told you, like, you know, like nobody appreciate when women fail, like, you know,
Yeah.
fail, or their hard work, because they have to deal with everything around them. They have to still take care of their family. They have to still take care of their children. They have to still do a lot of things. You know, we
Yeah.
talk about women empowerment and women equality and equity, but in a lot of cases, it will still be true. You know, no matter what, where you are,
Of
it's
course.
a natural thing that because it's a mother, you know, that thing is just expected. So anyways, like, you know, for me, I started, we are going to honor and appreciate women who are in their beginner phases or in their kind of a middle phases. We are dealing with struggles. Because when that happens, it's just like giving them a pat on the back. Girl, you are doing great. We are so proud of you that you took your first step.
Yes.
You had the courage to do this thing. You had the courage to put yourself out and make it happen. Trust me, on that 2013 April 8th, that day I saw several women walking down the stage with tears in their eyes, and they said, nobody even appreciated us. And that's what just started. It just started a wave. And today, we are in 2025. We have felicitated over 600 plus women. And I share their blog post. I share their stories, what they have done. And from there, that time we used to call that as ravishing women of substance. Ravishing women of the day. Today we call as empowering women of substance. And now we have another category, which is women leaders, which is like for women, those who are really accomplished, 20 plus years of an experience into working into something and really making a big name. So we do both. But we started, and once we started, I saw many people also started and doing the same thing. So, you know, for
That's
me,
great, right? For
Exactly.
a community.
Exactly.
I love that. That when someone copies something good that another person is doing, I absolutely feel like the first person is so successful because they just
Exactly,
made someone
exactly.
else do something good.
Because you know what was the idea? It's like, you know, to empower women, appreciate women. Now it is
Yeah.
just getting multiplied. And
Yeah.
like, you know, today I see so many
Yeah.
organizations doing
Yeah.
this thing.
This is fantastic because this is how the podcast also started.
Exactly.
I was like, okay, I don't know, like Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan ka podcast to chalta hi rehta hai. Who will tell stories of the NRIs who've had such a wonderful life for the last 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever number of years? They've gone through different seas without a single eye on them, without a single focus on them. Who is giving them the encouragement that they need to step up?
Yeah.
So, in the unfortunate world that we live in, like everything else, resources, etc., etc., and that's why we need good people in the world. Unfortunately, all of these things are very much towards the extremes, where we give all the praises to a couple of group of people and remaining other people in the similar hard work and journey are ignored, right? Salman Khan का इंटरव्यू मैं सुन रहा था एक बार, and he was saying कि मेरे बिल्डिंग में 10 लोग हैं जिनकी मेरे से अच्छी बॉडी है, मेरे से ज़्यादा हाइट है और मेरे से अच्छे दिखते हैं, but then who will appreciate them?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, for us, it's like bringing those stories to the forefront. And I have done celebrity shows and all.
Yes, I know.
And last year, we decided that we are not going to invite, these Bollywood celebrities. We started inviting people who are celebrity from their real life.
Amazing.
I would encourage you to read about Dhara Shah.
Dara Shah.
So she, a real life, a real Shiro, and so basically she lost all her limbs while giving birth to her first child during her first delivery itself, and she even lost her child during that delivery. So any other woman would have shattered, but this lady, she stood up. Today she does the marathons and she's encouraging, she's cooking, and her podcast have been shared by several others. So we invited her. And trust me, when she was speaking on the stage, it's like I had tears in my eyes. She was so strong, standing, smiling, very young lady, but the true lady that who is inspiring several other women, or like not just women. It's like lives.
Yes,
Because today empowering is not about just women empowerment. It's about the community empowerment. That is the biggest theme that we follow. We are trying to empower anybody who's around us.
Right.
So. And we do pageants. Actually, we haven't come on that, but I'm just jumping onto that. We have been doing pageants since 2013. Today we have multiple pageants.
I
We
see.
started with Miss India Washington.
Okay.
From India Washington, we took up Oregon State, and I became a national director for entire Canada.
I see.
Then we have Global Asia. And today we have a franchisee for even Mrs. Universe America, which is like 40 years old pageant that is running out of Philippines and South Korea. But we started a new pageant, which is Empowering Universe. And what is the purpose of that pageant? You get a PhD by your work or by your studies, right? This pageant is an honorary pageant which is given to women, those who have actually fought their life battles and come out as real successful
I see.
queens in every aspect. We don't even charge a penny from any of these contestants. It's an honor that we want to bestow on them. Last in 2023, we felicitated 7 women who has fought their cancer battles and then amazing work afterwards. So, and then last year, which is 2024, we crowned 6 women who fought with their disability to make it their strength. And this year, it will be for domestic violence warriors. So every year, it will be based on theme that is where women has shown real resilience. In my aspect, they are real queens. People need to, when you put a sash and crown on these real queens, you feel like, what you have created with them.
Absolutely.
So, that's how I think the pageant system, I have actually challenged even the pageant system, to be very honest. I think that goes with me to challenge when I'm seeing things not happening.
I can sense the theme already. Menka.
So it's like when we started pageant, there was like time when for an Miss category, the unmarried woman is like, you have to be done only at 28.
Yeah.
And I challenged, I said no.
Yeah.
And then it's like, Mrs., if you're divorced, where are you going? So started Miss.
Yeah.
And then, so, there were several things that we challenged. So we use our pageant not just for sash and crown. Honestly, people think that pageant is for bringing that glamour on the stage, girls walking in those nice clothing and thing. No. For me, pageant, I have told everybody, you get your sash and crown, be a community servant leader. You have your reign to create. This is a platform that you have got. How you make best use of this? Use this for a meaningful purpose to give back. Look at the issues that are existing in our community, in our society. Fight with them.
Speaking of building community leaders, you've led at the helm many NGOs that have made real impact in Seattle, outside as well, but I'll focus a little bit on Seattle now. Can we hear a little more about your organization, Feed the Need, and Maika?
Yes, absolutely. Before I do that, I want to put an emphasis why we changed from ravishing women to empowering.
Absolutely.
Right? There is a story. It's like, so far we have been empowering women, right? But when I started feeling that there are other members also, you have very disadvantaged communities. You have to help them. So it's not just about women empowerment, it's an about empowerment of a community. And then one thing that is very special, or very, that I truly believe, nobody can empower you till you empower yourself, till you know the power within yourselves. And I think I'm like that person. Nobody empowered me. I knew that I have that power within myself. And that's the reason I always took my first step. And then, definitely got some support and help from others. So our organization in AmPowering stands for that. It's like I am power. And that's a reason its
I
name is
see.
AmPowering.
I
And this transition happened during COVID. We changed the name during 2020 when COVID happened, and I saw so many people suffering. Literally, I'm telling you, Adi, I was very compassion fatigue at that time, feeling helpless several times. Like, wanted to help, but for example, the hospital beds were not available, and we were frantically trying to find out beds, and so that we can send people to those places. But that made me understand why community empowerment is very important, because you cannot empower one segment of your community if you are leaving others. So look at a kind of a cohesive way and see, who and where needs an empowerment. Now, under this empowering, now I'll come to the feed the need. So we have been doing several charity projects under Ravishing Women as well, like the pageant, the fashion, all these events that we did. We will raise funding and use it for the meaningful purposes. Like, for example, from our Holi, we have supported Amrita Seattle, Cry, Sophia Way.
I see.
So all these organizations, whatever funding is coming, we are donating, and API Chaya, several organizations. But Feed the Need started, it originally started with the mask making, because when there was no mask available, all of a sudden my living room got converted into a mask workshop.
During COVID.
And my 3-car garage got converted into a food bank because we were sending food, we were sending masks and we'll just stand on the streets. No questions asked. Take it from us, whatever you need. So that's how it started.
How many volunteers were there?
The peak COVID, lot of volunteers were very scared to come outside. They will be happy to make masks at their home and deliver to us, but they won't come. And it was a group of youth.
Wow.
So my daughter, and all her friends, they started coming together, and then there were a couple of amazing women, and I have Surekha, who's currently leading our Feed the Lead program, and Pranita, who is coordinating this. So they came forward, and then several women will come together, and we started cooking and sending the cooked meals. So we provide groceries, and we also provide cooked meals.
I see.
So these things, they started. So today we have over 350 women.
Wow. Volunteers.
Volunteers.
Okay, wow.
These are all volunteers, and the way they cook, sending nice, hopeful messages, like such positive messages along with the food.
And who are they feeding?
Homeless.
The Seattle.
homeless
So
numbers.
how does that?
multiple
How do you
places.
organize the distribution?
So we have sign-up sheets, and their food is going to the different shelter homes.
I see.
For example, we send it to Porchlight, which is like 120 homeless men in Bellevue. Then there is Sophia Way, there's Helen's Way, there is Seattle Union Gospel Mission, Mary's Place,
Amazing.
and Friends of Youth. So there are multiple. So, and then we also used to go on the street and distribute, it's a cold day, okay, soup made, some cheese quesadillas made, some jackets kept out in the street, and we are distributing all these things to people there. So that's what it continued, and it has been going uninterrupted even till date. So, and then from there, we also started making peanut butter jelly sandwiches. We make almost close to 1,600 and sometimes even 2,000 in the month of October. We'll be crossing overall in the month of October itself more than 10,000 sandwiches. So, and then this project became very popular with families, youth. They celebrate their birthdays. The kids, the 5 or 6 years old kid, instead of going out and celebrating birthdays, they will invite all their kids and make the sandwiches. You are instilling those values on those kids right now. And then there were several other organizations, the corporates like Microsoft employees, T-Mobile employees. I was working for T-Mobile.
So
by the
people
way.
joined hands. They were like, okay, this is. I remember that time. I mean, everybody was doing anything that is possible to keep their community, running and safe, and support who is in need. And wow.
Yeah. So now from there, the MICA program. The idea of MICA program is
Maika in Hindi means
my mother's home.
maa ka ghar.
Yes,
My mother's home. And it especially means a married woman's mother's home.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like after she's married, her home, original home is called the Maika.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
So the context is you have to be married.
no, it is
No?
not. It is
Okay.
not.
ऐसा होता है.
The
I
name
see.
is Maika,
हाँ.
but it has its English
I see.
abbreviations where we are, which means like, we are providing aid and support to
I
them.
see.
So, like, giving kindness, giving any kind of an aid.
Survivors
to
of
anybody's.
domestic violence,
It's
or
not just survivors of domestic violence, it's anybody and everybody,
I see.
those who need. In fact, this is one question that has been asked to me by a couple of other police foundations when they're reaching out to us. So today we are partner with YMCA, the police foundations, with different other non-profit organizations, with the shelter homes, because in the middle of the night, if somebody does not have a place and I'll give some examples, like, they are a pregnant woman with 3 kids in the car, right? And she's living in the car. You cannot imagine a pregnant woman with 2 kids living in a 5-seater, right? So somebody will find out and they will just reach out to our organization, and we have to provide them shelter. And we provide them shelters in the hotels right now. And we also so there is a hotel voucher program. We are a little different than that, because we are not just providing the shelter in the hotel. We also provide other resources. Now, for example, this woman is going, do you need a diaper? Do you need food? Do you need any other help?
sanitary needs,
Kits,
etc.
anything.
Yeah.
It's like, so we take care of them. Then there is a Section 8 housing. So what happens, our problem today is they may get a Section 8 housing approval, but getting an approval does not guarantee that they have a roof or a shelter right next moment. It may take from 1 day to several months. We have handled cases where it took even 6 months. And we have to provide a shelter for those 6 months. It's a huge cost, but we have to do it because that lady was with 7 kids and had no other place to go. So we have to give her. But once they move out, what we do, we send them furnitures, we send them any other resources, grocery, and I tell them, you can save your money for your bigger needs. I can help you with your smaller other needs. So that it's a kind that, you're just taking care of their, how anybody at their mother's place would have got some of these supports. So that's what Maika program became. In fact, it's growing so fast. And we started feeling there is not enough money available. And these hotels have become super expensive for us to keep placing them. But it's difficult to say no. Now, for example, I'll just pick up that same example. Now, that pregnant woman, we got her into a hotel with 2 kids. They stayed for 1 night. Next day, she went into labor. She was in the hospital, discharged 2nd day. Now, where is she going to go? Now with a newborn baby. So we had to get her back into the hotel, and then she stayed for longer. Our program says like we can do up to 5 nights, but in this case, it wasn't an exception. And then another program I also want to highlight is Dehat. Because as you mentioned, we have a non-profit actually even established in India. And the same Feed the Need program in India is known as Maa Ki Rasoi, my mother's kitchen. And so we are doing it in multiple cities. In Lucknow, how it is done, it's like, you go outside the trauma center. There are a lot of people coming from the neighboring villages and the rural areas. Now, when they have their loved one admitted in a trauma center, which is like an emergency, the last thing in their mind will be food. They are staying on the streets. They are homeless at that moment, and not even worried about their food or anything because they have their loved one inside. So our team goes there, and they've been feeding all those people daily. It's actually 6 days a week. We take 1 day break there. But then also the food is also served to construction workers and people on the street. So this is Maa Ki Rasoi program that we have been running in India. And Dehat is another program that is running in India only. There is a small village, Pauni, that is near Maharashtra, in Maharashtra, in Nagpur. Now, ladies there, they were not working, and they were not sending the kids to school. And there was a public school. I have personally seen the condition of that school. I was scared even to step inside because I felt like, is this roof going to fall on me? There was no drinking water. There was no toilet. It was just like one honey bucket kind of a structure that was put there to be used as a toilet there.
A porta potty.
Yeah.
Okay. Why were you interested in this school? How did that happen?
The executive director of that school came
Reached
to me.
out.
She got to know about me from some sources, and she came to meet me here. She was here on a trip, and she came to meet me in Seattle. We sat right outside this Lake Sammamish Park alongside the river and talking. And she gifted me a paper pen made by a 8th grade girl. And she was asking me, Didi, how, and tell me, what we should do for about some of these things. I said, you have a pen. Like, a pen is bigger than even a sword. So I said, let's do that. Send me all these things.
Write it down.
One of the holy event, we raised funds for that school. My daughter, actually, she did some dance programs and everything. She raised funds for that school. So we raised a lot of funds and we'd send them the seed money. And at the same time, we reached out to those women and said, if we give you work, can you use that money to send your kids to school? So it became like a kind of a double benefit that we hired a fashion designer who's sitting there, and these ladies, they make their saris and all that stuff. We bring them here, sell them, and then send them money back, so that it's in the rotation. And this year we had people with the different abilities, like one woman with only 2 fingers, rest of fingers are burned, and she making crochet, nice tops and everything that we got. And the North America Fashion Week, we put one full segment just for the hat.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
So this is another project that has been running, and we feed 750 kids in that school every single day. So, and the executive director, Brendan, her name is amazing. She's been doing phenomenal work with this particular program. So, we just became, a support and empowerment part for this. So
that is fantastic.
And she called me, it's like mother of the heart, because this entire thing originated with just one idea, one support, giving her seed money and giving her support when she needed it to make it blossom.
This is a great example of an individual with a clear vision and a knack for people, being able to, impact them in different ways, in different places, in different forms, in different needs, US, India, Dehat, Pune, etc. As a person who deeply believes in philanthropy myself and spirituality, I've had an early start with spirituality as well. Of
Good.
course, why not, right? That's why I'm alive. I feel where an individual is not satisfied with charity or social work like volunteering, that's when they should get into public service, official public service, because that's when they realize that my desire to change people's life has exceeded my capabilities to change the systemic constraints of the things, which brings me naturally into the last segment of the conversation I want to have, which is very lovely and natural progression of you going from this individual who came as an H4 NRI woman working on tech or tech companies around, and then figuring at the mercy of the visa gods, paving your own path, and now building a system that is self-serving. What was that moment that made you choose this direction of going into public life? And I'm speaking about your pursuit into the Redmond City Council elections this year.
Exactly. This is what is happening right now. See, for me, as I told you, definitely philanthropist right from my childhood and at my heart. That actually, made me work with an AmPowering. And while I was working for AmPowering, as I was doing different events and people were getting to know me, I also became Redmond Arts Commissioner and Vice President for One Redmond Foundation. And I've spent over 15 years on this. I am also board member for SKIP, which is South King County for Homelessness and Housing Partners, providing affordable housing to many people. And I sit in another 2 boards for City of Renton as well, I'm their Lodging and Tourism Board, and of course, Diversity and Inclusion Ambassador task force that has been appointed by Mayor. So I've been doing all of these things, and I thought this is, good for me. It's already.
And where do you hide the other clones of Menka Soni that are able to manage that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. These are the things that, and during COVID, I joined a full-time job with T-Mobile as well, which I quitted actually last year. So,
Congrats, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a congrats or not. Like,
Yeah,
it, yeah, it
you
gives
know,
you more time to do what you want to
busy,
do.
there are,
Hmm.
so when I have to fulfill a mother's responsibilities and my duties towards some of these things, I
Yeah.
needed,
Yeah.
my daughter was going to college and I
Absolutely.
had to fund her
Absolutely.
education. So, I will do anything that is the need of an hour and I'll do.
Jack of all.
Jack of
Welcome to
all.
the show.
Exactly. So, this last 14 years, everybody kept asking me, Menka, when are you running for this, for the politics? I said, I don't think so. I'm a
ये
thin
politics
skin.
क्या होता है?
I said, I'm a thin skin. I don't think so that, I can go for politics or, but yeah, and then, I would say, I don't know, people like me should be in politics. They said, why? I said, because I think very straight. If I am there, I will be challenging and I will be doing things. And for me, I don't want to wait. If there is a need, I will just, okay, let me take some lead and initiative and start working on some of these things. I said, that's what we need in politics today. So that we need leaders, those who are connected at a grassroots, those who are actually bringing the community voice. So they said that. So everybody kept convincing that you should run for this. For me, the bigger reason came to go into politics was last 2 years. I'm seeing it's like with the increase in the MICA cases, it's like no matter how much you are doing it, it's still not enough.
Can you share more about the MICA cases?
Like domestic violence. There have been several domestic violence cases, the surge that started increasing. And, you talk about women empowerment. I have dealt with cases where women in USA, they were asked not to sleep on bed, not to use the washing machines, and they had not stepped out of their homes. And I said, okay, is this women empowerment that we all put it out there? So we said that, that just made me feel that we have to be part of the policy making. We just don't have to be only on the implementation side. I'm coming here as a mother. I want to ensure okay, what are the policies that is going to impact future of my kids? I'm coming with the community voice representing several disadvantaged, marginalized communities because I work with them. And so I said, we need to bring those voices also on, at the city hall. So when that urge came from within, I said, okay, I think it's time for me to take up this step. So I'm here today running for Redmond City Council and did pretty well for my primary.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks to all my voters. I got the highest votes also.
Yes.
And I
a
have
flamboyant and resounding victory and trust in Menka Soni.
Exactly.
I feel like this is a great opportunity for you to magnify the scale of the impact that you've had or you desire to have on this world. A healthy individual wants the world for themselves, but an ill individual only wants one thing, which is to get better. You've had few instances in your life that almost broke you physically. How did you overcome that? And how does that feed into this new mission that you have?
So I'll tell you, life for me has not always been very rosy. I have, I told you we used to have that brick and mortar marketplace. And then we also built up a good, the concept of Pranam India, which is like a community place. One fine day, both of these places got demolished. I was in a kind of a very worse part of my life at that moment when everything that I have worked so hard to build is just got to, ground zero. But resilience, that's what you needed to bring it back. It's like you're not giving up and be unstoppable. So that's what helped me. These are not just the real words that I'm talking about, to create a hashtags. I have lived those moments.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I brought it back. In fact, everybody knows that I'm very hardworking. It's like, they will be just finding me working and this thing. And then there will always be a lot of criticism. When you are growing, you'll always face criticism. And my spirituality has given me a different perspective of that. But there was a time like, it's just getting too much. Like, work is there. And then some of these things, they just got me. So this is like 2019. I actually also ended up having a heart attack and was admitted to the hospital. And there was a moment when and there was like, I was not at that age to get that, pretty healthy otherwise, and no cholesterol. There was no
No
reason.
pre-existing
No
conditions for
pre-existing
you to
conditions.
do
The
that. Yeah.
doctor could not find out what was the reason. The only reason that nobody else can understand, but I can understand very well, is it was a shock given to you by the universe. It was a wake up call. So from that onwards, I said health is equally important for everyone. So we all need to pay attention to our health. And more than physical health, your mental health. Because you have a lot to bear when you're working on different things. Your mental health has to be absolutely strong. So focus on that. And spirituality, meditations, my healings, all these things. I became a healer as well in this process. These things, they really help me to keep my mental state and my physical state both. Because if my mental state is strong, I feel good even physically.
That's gym for your mind.
It's a gym for my mind. And today I deal with so many mental health cases as well.
Actually, yes.
Through my AmPowering. And somebody asked me this question, you hear so many stories on a daily basis. How do you cope up with that? I said that's what the natural mechanism that I have started building, that I want to keep my sanity in place. I want to keep myself that you cannot provide oxygen to anybody. You can put that mask if you need that mask for yourself. So for me, that has been always my first priority, to focus on my mental health and my mental state as well. And I would tell everybody, focus on that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Menka. What a wonderful story, and what an arc. I wish you, first of all, I thank you as an Indian, as an NRI in the United States, as a Seattle local, for putting lot of your life energy and people energy into building a community that allows others to also explore different opportunities for themselves in different ways. At the same time, I also wish you all the best for your pursuit into public service, and I will wish you that the results of the next
General
round,
elections?
yes, are as good as the last one. With that, thank you so much from myself, Mansa, and the rest of the community for coming here and sharing amazing anecdotes of your life journey, and ending with a beautiful sort of highlight note about the importance of being resilient and building a community just to have a best life here on this planet Earth. Thank you so much for everything that you've done, and I hope you just keep growing.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Jack of all. Thank you, Adi. Thank you, Manasa, and the entire team for inviting me to share some personal stories here that has actually shaped Menka, who I am today. And I'm looking forward to create much more deeper impact and help more.
Amazing. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this amazing episode. Please let me know and let Menka know in the comments, how did you like the stories? If you have any questions, we will add all the descriptions, all the information about the amazing work that Menka is doing, whether they are NGOs or not, in the description. So please go and check them out. Let us know in the comment, who else would you like us to interview next? With that, this was Adi and Menka, and we have been Jack of All. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye-bye.